This is Susan Bradley for AskWoody.com. Tonight we're going to talk about those of you who have come to the end of the road of Windows 7. Now, why am I showing you an Apple screen? Because those of you might be thinking about going over to Apple. And so one of the things I want to talk about is kind of some of the same applications that you'll see over on Apple that are similar, but sometimes a little bit different than the Microsoft versions. Now, I'm a fan of Word and Excel. Obviously, since I'm an accountant by trade, I live and breathe in Excel, so therefore Excel is very important to me. While Apple does have some native platforms, such as Numbers, and I forget what it calls the equivalent in Word. But bottom line, they have some included in the operating system programs that you can use to do spreadsheets. I'm still a fan of using the actual program like Excel. Now, if you have files in Word or in Excel on a Microsoft platform, most of the time it can be converted over to Apple. There's like no difference at all. With some exceptions, if you have anything that has really complicated macros that may not work on an Apple machine, so I mean a plain old spreadsheet, plain old summation, plain old something like that will absolutely convert no problem. But any of your more complicated spreadsheets, anything that does pivot tables, anything like that, you're not going to be able to convert it over to an Apple machine. You may have to use a virtual machine or something like that. But you kind of get the idea that for plain Jane basic stuff, they're very, very comparable. On both platforms, you have gears. And by the way, for those of you that are comfortable and familiar with an iPhone, you'll be very much used to this interface on the Apple platform. There's your gear, your system settings, the same thing as kind of like your iPhone. You're not required to log in with an Apple ID, but you're very much want to install an Apple ID because that's where your applications come over. You've got browser options. Safari is the default, but you can download Google Chrome. If you have a Microsoft 365 subscription, that subscription will also work on an Apple. So this is my Microsoft 365 subscription that gives me access to Word and Excel and PowerPoint over on the Apple platform. So you kind of get the idea that even Microsoft realizes that Apple is beginning to have a larger and larger share, so therefore it should offer some options as well. Now this is Apple's version of its Excel spreadsheet. It's not as robust as Excel, but if you just do basic stuff, it will probably do the trick. Now the one thing I will recommend, especially, now this is a bit USA centric, this is also a bit accountant centric. If you have anyone help you do your taxes, a word of advice, make sure you save this in a Excel format. If you send a document to an accountant and it's in an Apple format, the chances are they will not be able to open it up. So just a word of advice, when you're saving, try to format in a Excel or Word format, because while you may live in an Apple world, the accounting world does not, or at least not yet. So make sure you format those files for other people. So try to get to platforms that everybody can open. Save as a PDF, save as an XLS, save as a DOC. Think of all of those file formats that the Windows world uses that are different on the Apple, and make sure you save documents in a cross-platform methodology. So for example, you come up here and the menu bar, unlike Windows where the menu bar is usually up here, the menu bar is up here. So you click on Numbers and then you go over to File, and you want to look for something that will either save as or export to or do something where it converts it more to a format that others can read. So see how it says File, Export to, And you want to get it to either PDF or Excel, because remember, other people tend not to use Apple machines, especially in business or people helping you. So you may want to save it into something that they can open up as well. Pages is the name of Apple's Word document. Again, it's not quite as robust, but if you just have basic note-taking, letter writing, things like that, works just fine. Again, you want to come over here and click on File. And again, if you're sharing this with somebody else, and especially if they work in Windows, you want to look for something that says Export to, and you want to change it into either a PDF or a Word document so that they can read it too. Because if you leave it in the native formats that come from Apple, they have to open it up in an Apple or find a converter. Trust me, as a person who has had to convert these quite a lot when I receive them, make it easier for the person on the other end. Save it in a format that everybody can use. So PDF, Word, on the Excel side, look for that export to PDF or export to Excel. Just a little quick tip, I should say, when you're in the Apple world and you need to communicate back with the Windows world. Last but not least, Keynote is Apple's version of PowerPoint. Once again, if you're going to share this or save this with other people, you're going to want to look for a Windows PowerPoint or PDF to get it to someone else who works in the Windows world. So again, you want to come up to File, click on that Export to, and again, there you have PDF or PowerPoint. And often PDF is a pretty easy cross-platform. It opens up in browsers. If somebody has Adobe PDF or Qt PDF or any of the PDF editing programs, they can edit it. So that's an easy cross-platform to use when you have moved over to the Apple platform and now need to communicate back with the Windows platform. So that's just a little hint. If you are looking for different operating systems and thinking about moving to something else, the data will move, but you'll have to get used to totally different software. So many of it will work pretty similar. There's a lot of things that are the same, but then again, there's a lot of things that are different. Just like in anything in technology, change is always happening. Until next time, this is Susan Bradley for AskWoody.com.